to you live from my kitchen. Oh my god, world. So this is it. This is the final episode of Wentworth Review. Wow. I had no idea that this was gonna happen. I mean, I had a feeling, but I thought that I would be able to control myself. Alright, this is it. This is fucking it. I'm coming to you live from my kitchen, feeling some type of way, but we're gonna do this thing. The Wentworth, Season 9, the final sentence, Episode 10 review begins now. So the episode begins, as usual, with a recap. Usually I don't get into the recaps, but we're gonna discuss this recap, okay? The recap begins with clips of Season 8. And it's Vera bringing in baby Grace to see the women in the yard, right? And Boomer sees the baby and she's all excited. And the second I saw that, I started to cry. You see more clips of Boomer and her whole journey to motherhood. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. So here we go, right from the beginning, cry count. Because it was full-blown tears of joy for Boomer. But also sadness because I knew that this was the final episode. You know what I'm saying? So we see Boomer's whole journey. We see Vera bringing in baby Grace. We see Boomer seeing and holding the baby. We see clips of Boomer saying that she wants a baby. Her and Gavin together. Her telling Gavin, give me the spoof. Gavin giving her the spoof. Ruby and Boomer in Boomer's cell during her insemination. The taking of the pregnancy test. And the three of them, Allie, Boomer, and Ruby, happy as shit that Boomer was pregnant, you know what I'm saying? So then the next clips that we see is Allie and B from seasons. Allie and B from seasons past in B's cell. Yo. Oh my god, we see the beautiful light behind them. They're looking at one another. We see them laying in the yard, talking about the seahorses, connecting tails, you know what I'm saying? Then we see Allie's transition. Like her journey after B. We see her shooting Brody. We see her as top dog. We hear Lou in the background saying, darling, you're not top dog material. And we see Allie cutting Lou's finger off. You know what I'm saying? Allie getting stabbed by Judy. Then we see her in the yard telling Boomer that she's paralyzed. And then we see Allie and Mari's last conversation where Mari is telling Allie, you're the best of us. Let me tell you something. The whole time, I'm crying, okay? I can barely say the words now, just thinking about it. So this is when I snapped out of it. So now we see Rita and Ruby, and we see their whole journey, you know what I'm saying? Rita telling Ruby she's still a cop, and in Wentworth to protect her. Drago being beat to death on the floor. Rita bloody afterwards, being told that she's now one of the women. Then we see Will burying Joan alive. Clips of when Joan almost stole baby Grace, you know what I'm saying? We see the fake passports. We see Vera telling Jake about the passports. You know what I'm saying? We see Joan getting hit over the head, waking up in the hospital saying she's Kath Maxwell. We see clips of Joan in the holding cell and Vera and Jake, you know, looking at her wondering, is she fucking faking it? We see Vera pouring out the poisoned milk, saying she was gonna kill, you know what I'm saying, Joan with the milk. We see Will and Mari kissing, so we see their affair. And we see Mari and Lou in Lou's cell, and Lou's telling Mari, I'm gonna make them all pay for what they did to Reb. We see Lou and Judy, and we hear about the bomb plan. We see Ann and the NSO dude talking in the car, you know what I'm saying? Ann beating Judy with the baton. Judy telling Lou to call off the bomb. Lou stabbing Mari. See Mari dead, Will closing her eyes, Will telling Ann that she is done in this prison. And then we see Lou and Rita in the yard. Lou calls Rita a filthy fucking pig. The women jump Rita. And then the last scene that we see is the last scene from last episode, which was the girls. They're in H1. Rita, Ruby, Boomer, Allie, they're sitting there. It's already, you know, after dark, so they're locked in. And they're sitting there talking about Mari and how they feel bad, you know what I'm saying? And then Allie says that Mari's death is on all of them. And then we hear the women in the background talking their shit, okay? They're talking their shit. They're yelling out all of these things to the women. They're calling them screw lovers, you cunts, you know what I'm saying? You pig, oink, oink. And they're talking all this shit, calling them all types of bitches and pigs and screw lovers. And then they're like, oh, Boomer, we're gonna smash your fucking tits in. And that's how the episode ends. You know what I'm saying? And that is also how the recap ends. And let me tell you something. This is the best recap ever. Then the opening credits begin. And to my surprise, I said, yo, am I going crazy? Am I just hearing things? They went back to the original theme song, and I was so happy to hear it. And when I heard the music, I was so happy. I was just like, yes, the lyrics are back. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm wearing my Wentworth hoodie today because, listen, this is the final episode. And so for this review, I will be one of the women. So now, into the episode. The first scene that we see is Frasier. He's working on the bomb. And we see that he finishes the bomb. You know what I'm saying? So he's getting it together and he's putting up the final touches. And then he sets the timer. So the countdown begins from the very beginning of the episode. So now we have a mini musical montage. And it's this musical montage. It's like some sad ass song with words. I feel like I should know this song and who sings it. But unfortunately, I do not. So we hear this sad fucking music. You know what I'm saying? Allie, we see Allie in her cell. She's waking up. And we hear this sad music playing. You know what I'm saying? The next thing that we see is Rita sitting down in her cell thinking. You know what I'm saying? And then we see Ruby sitting down in her cell also thinking. And then we see Boomer sitting in her cell doing what? Thinking. So all of them are sitting in their cells thinking. You know what I'm saying? They're basically targets at this point because Rita's a police officer. You know what I'm saying? So they're probably in there wondering, am I going to die today? You know what I'm saying? And then on top of all of that, Boomer's pregnant and she has to worry about this. It's terrible. So then we go back to Allie's cell and we see Allie. She sits up in bed to put on her pants and she's struggling. You know what I'm saying? She's having a hard time putting on her pants this morning. And then she starts looking at her thighs and we see the stab wounds from when she stabbed herself in the showers. And she starts looking at her stab wounds and she takes a thumb and she starts pressing in to one of the stab wounds as hard as she could. And I'm assuming that she did this that she could see, she was trying to feel something. But there's no feeling in those legs. That's it. It was sad. And she feels nothing. You know what I'm saying? So then the next thing that we see is all four of them turning the corner, coming down the halls of Wentworth. You know what I'm saying? And Allie's face in this, she just looks so defeated. It's sad. You know what I'm saying? So they're walking down the halls. They're still playing this sad ass music. The women start talking shit to them. Remember how when Mari would come walking down the halls, how the women would talk shit to her in the beginning of season 8? This is the same thing that was happening to our women, the H1 girls, okay? That they were doing that to them. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. How are they going to survive in this prison moving forward? You know what I'm saying? And so at the ends of this crowd of, you know, shit-talking hyenas, who do we see? The most beautiful woman in the world, Lou Kelly. Well, now we're in the senior staff room. And Will is giving them a speech, the senior staff. You know what I'm saying? And he's basically telling them that the prison is in crisis and it's their job to protect everyone in the prison. And they have fallen short of this task. All the guards are getting double shifts, blah, blah, blah. So all the guards are going to have double shifts because he wants extra guards for the next 24 hours on H1. You know what I'm saying? Because in 24 hours, he's going to be reopening the protection unit. And Vera's like, yo, you can't have all those guards on just one unit. And he's like, calm down because it's only for the next 24 hours. And so somebody says something about Anne isn't going to like this. And in that moment, Anne walks in talking about what am I not going to like? It wasn't those exact words, but that was the gist of it. So Anne comes in and she says, I'm aware of certain accusations that have been made against me. And she looks at Vera, right? And she was like, but I have bigger things to worry about. While certain members of staff have been engaged in petty office politics, and then she looks at Will and Vera, right? She says, I've been dealing with matters of national importance. This time tomorrow, I will be getting a big promotion while some of you will be looking for new jobs. She looks at Will and Vera and she walks off. You know what I'm saying? And then Jake goes up to Will and asks him, what are they going to do about Ferguson? And Will says, leave her to me. Because as we all know, Last episode, Ferguson confessed at court that she was Ferguson. So the question now is, what do we do with her? So the next scene is Will and Joan Ferguson, and they're inside, the governor's office. And so Will brings to Joan Ferguson the paper that he made Dr. Miller sign, all right? He hands Joan the paper, and Joan is like, what's this? And then Will says, you're transferred to Sinclair Institute. You'll be moved there tomorrow. And Joan says, I am not criminally insane. And Will says, Dr. Miller begs to differ. This is his parting gift. And I was like, oh my God. So Craig and I were absolutely correct. And a lot of you as well. We all thought that that was him sending Joan to the nut house. And in fact, it was. He's sending her to the Sinclair Institute for the criminally insane so she could go and be roommates with Eve Wilder up in there. Eve Wilder better watch out for her other eyeball because Joan is coming for that shit. Joan says, do you really think you can escape the consequences of your actions by saying that I'm mad? And Will says, I know you're gonna fuck us over, but you could do that from a padded cell. And Joan, she looks troubled, you know what I'm saying? And it looks like she's like, oh God, what do I do now? So now the next scene is Joan Ferguson, and she's in the halls, you know what I'm saying? So the women are shouting at her, calling her a freak, and they're also giving her grief. And in this moment, I was like, oh shit, hold up. They hate her again, now that they know for sure that she's Joan. I forgot all about that. Like, it never even crossed my mind that Joan Ferguson would become a target now that she's confessed that she really is Joan. As Joan is walking down the hallway, Rita sees her and stops her. So Rita tells her, Ferguson, seems like we both have big targets on us. Joan, you may be more of a pariah than I am. Rita, we both have Luke Kelly to thank for that. There's a phone in your unit. She's got it. I want it. Joan, why should I help you, Connors? Even if I could. Rita, you get that phone and I'll convince my mob to join forces and protect each other. Joan, oh, I think that ship has sailed. She walks off, you know what I'm saying? And Rita's there looking frustrated as fuck, and then she walks away. So the next scene is Anne going to see Linda. So Anne is telling her about this court appearance that Judy has this afternoon at 5 p.m. And Linda's confused because it's not on her schedule. She doesn't see it on the schedule. So Anne is telling Linda, listen, it came through. It was a special hearing scheduled, you know what I'm saying? And it came through via Anne. So Anne is the one that put in the paperwork, you know what I'm saying? And then Anne tells Linda, I've heard complaints of inmates not being ready on time for transport, to court and shit. And Linda's like, oh, word, that's a lot. That's news to me. I haven't heard anything of it. So Anne looks at Linda and she's now, frustrated. Like, bitch, you normally would just do as I say and now you're giving me problems. And I don't fucking like it. Anne tells her, make sure Judy's in a holding cell by 4:45. Can you do that, Miss Miles? And Linda nods and says, yeah. My thoughts on this scene are, so Anne right now is still thinking that they want to escape. You know what I'm saying? That Judy is trying to escape. So she's sticking her in this holding cell because she's trying to make sure that that's not going to happen. So I also think that Linda has had it with Anne. Like Anne tying up Judy and beating her with the baton while she was tied to the pole. That was the last straw for Linda. You know what I'm saying? Linda is a lot of things, but if she's going to hurt you, you're not going to be tied up when she does it. So I think it's safe to say that Linda Smiles is back. Thank God, okay? Moving on. So now we're in the halls. Anne has just left Linda and she is in the halls of Wentworth, and we see Vera coming up behind her, right? So Vera's like, Anne. And Anne stops, rolls her eyes and stops. So Vera's like, can we talk? And Anne is like, what's there to talk about other than your treachery? And I was like, bitch, if you don't stop stealing my words. First of all, how dare you use the word treachery in a sentence? Listen, there's nothing treacherous about Vera. She got the nerve to tell Vera, what's there to talk about other than your treachery? Meanwhile, she's been having sex with Jake Stewart. Not once, but twice. Okay? That's treachery. So, Vera, let's talk about tomorrow's board meeting. I reported you, Anne, and I'm supporting Will's notion to have you removed. Anne laughs. Oh, Vera, you're in for such a surprise. And she walks away, smiling. And Vera looks at her like the bitch is fucking completely insane. You know what I'm saying? And then Jake comes up behind Vera and says, Will's shipping her off to Sinclair. And Vera looks at him confused as fuck, and she goes, who? Anne? So she's like, who, Anne? And he looks at her like, bitch, are you nuts? And he's like, no, Ferguson. She's leaving tomorrow. And we should go tonight. Just pack up the car and drive. And Vera's like, drive to where, Jake? If we run, we can never stop. Whatever Ferguson has planned, I'm going to face it. I'm not running from her anymore. And she walks away and just Jake is there like, fucking shit, man. So the next scene is Fraser and his boy, because he's got a partner. Fraser and his partner are now loading the bomb into the back of the brawler, okay? And the timer's set, you hear the bomb ticking, and they cover the bomb with this fabric, like a painting tarp type of thing. They cover the bomb with the fabric and they close the doors. You see the bomb now covered through the window and we hear it ticking. Oh my God. When I tell you, I literally had like anxiety in my stomach. Like, you know when you get anxious about something and you have like these butterflies in your stomach? That's how I felt the entire time watching this episode until the bomb went off. Once the bomb went off, it stopped. But up until that point, it was just this butterflies in my stomach. It was crazy. I've never have I felt this way while watching an episode. It was nuts. Now, oh, I love this next scene. So now we're back in the halls of Wentworth, you know what I'm saying? And we're in the phone area where the phones are, and the stairs, like that area. So Boomer's on the phone and she's calling Gavin and he's not picking up. So she's leaving him a voicemail. So she hears the option, you know, leave a voice message now. So she's like, oh, hi, it's me again. And in the background, you know, the guards are there with her. There's 2 guards on her. And the women that are there are talking shit to Boomer while she's on the phone. Fucking bitches. And so the women are talking their shit. And then Boomer back on the phone. And we hear her saying to Gavin, I'm pregnant. And it's yours. So yeah, I'm going to have a little person. I don't know if you want to be a dad. If you do, that'll be okay. But if you didn't, that'll be okay too. I have enough love in me for 20 moms and dads, eh? I got this, okay? And she goes to hang up the phone. So she's basically telling him, you know what I'm saying? I'm pregnant, you're the father, but with or without you, the show must go on, okay? And so as she goes to hang up the phone, she hears, Susan, are you there? Susan! And she picks up the phone and she's like, I'm here. And Gavin's like, oh, thank God. Thank God. It is so good to hear your voice. And Boomer's shocked and happy and shit. And she's like, it is? And he's like, of course it is, love. And Boomer's like, oh, fuck me. And then she's like, I thought you didn't want to talk to me anymore. And Gavin's like, no, I've been, oh, you're not going to believe this. I've been locked up because of that bloody camera. They found it on me. Did I hear it right? You're pregnant? And Boomer says, yeah, I'm gonna be a mom. You're gonna be a dad. But you don't have to do nothing. I just wanted to tell you. And Gavin says, I'm so happy for you. I won't abandon you, Susan. I'm here for you and the baby. And Boomer's like, you what? And Gavin is like, is that okay? I thought after, you know, we're a team. And Boomer's like, yeah, we are a team. We're a team. And she's crying and she's happy. And the cry count. So the cry count. We are up to, I'm going to just put the number here because I don't remember at this point if it's 13 or 14. Yo, when I tell you, there was nothing but crying this episode. It was great. So my thought was this was such a sweet scene. And so Gavin's not dead as I thought. So Gavin's alive. He was just locked up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just so happy for fucking Boomer. This is her dream come true. You know what I'm saying? It's just great. It's fucking great. The next scene is, oh my God, my beautiful, precious baby love walking down the halls. Coming up behind her is, say it with me, a treacherous bitch named Judy Bryant. So this bitch comes up behind Judy in the halls of Wentworth, and she comes up to Lou and asks her, what did Fraser say? And Lou says, he was happy to hear you getting out. And Judy smiles, believing Lou's lies. You know what I'm saying? He don't give 2 fucks about Judy Bryant. The next scene is Fraser and his friend leaving their little hideout in the brawler, dressed as guards, okay? Driving off on their way to Wentworth with a ticking time bomb packed with 5 kilos of gelicanite in the back of the damn brawler. Oh my God. They're on their way to Wentworth with this thing. So the next scene is Allie coming down the hall. And she sees Luke Kelly. You know what I'm saying? So the guard that is accompanying Allie stops to talk to another guard real quick and leaves Allie there vulnerable to attack. You know what I'm saying? How is that doing your job? So Lou stops her. She goes up to Allie and says something that I really couldn't understand, but something about like your hideout lips, but I couldn't understand what she said. So Lou was like, those screws can't protect you forever. It's only a matter of time before somebody finishes what Judy started. And Allie's like, oh yeah? And who's gonna do your dirty work now that mullet's in the slot? And my thought after hearing was like, here goes another one accusing Luke Kelly of not fighting her own battles. First it was Mari, fight your own fight. What happened to Mari? Lou stabbed you, killed you, left you dead on the ground. If that's not fighting your own fight, I don't know what is. Oh my God, you know, leave her alone, damn it. So Allie's like, yeah, and who's gonna do your dirty work now that mullet's in the slot? And so Lou's like, no, mullet didn't stick, Mari. I had that pleasure all to myself. And Allie looks at Lou, horrified by what she has just said. You know what I'm saying? She's shocked, she's pissed off, you know what I'm saying? Lou leaves, the guard comes back, and Allie leaves. You know what I'm saying? Looking all the emotions. Sad, mad, hurt, pissed, confused, enraged. All of it. She was all of those emotions. So now we're in H1, okay? Oh my God. And we see Boomer, Ruby, and Rita in the unit. So Boomer and Ruby are talking. She must have just came back to the unit after her phone call with Gavin. So she's telling Ruby, he's gonna stand by me and we're gonna have a baby. Cry count number 15, okay? Oh my God. You know, I can't, Boomer cries, I cry. And that's just how it is. You know, I'm so happy for her. And so when Boomer says, I just want to point this out, he's gonna stand by me, this is like a little sneak peek at what we hear at the very end of the fucking episode. And so Boomer and Ruby are now hugging and dancing around with excitement, you know what I'm saying? And she's dancing around, she's so excited. You know, she's got her own family now. Her mom's dead, her sister's a fucking slutbag whore somewhere, stealing her boyfriend, stealing her jewelry, you know what I'm saying? And so now she's got her own family. Gavin, the Bubba. Oh, it's beautiful. They're dancing, swing side to side, and Ruby's like, oh, you dancing queen? You're gonna make the baby dizzy. And Rita looks at Boomer and she's like, I'm happy for you, Boomer. You deserve it. Boomer says thank you. And during this, Allie comes into H1. She's crying, she looks worried, she's pissed off as well, and she says, fuck, Lou, she did it. Rita hears this and comes out of herself quick, and she's like, did what? And Allie's like, she killed Mari. And Rita's like, you sure? And Allie's like, yeah, she was gloating about it just now. And Jake comes in, talking about, okay, that's it. You're being confined to your unit. And Rita's like, we're under lockdown now? Jake says, there'll be 2 officers permanently stationed at this gate. No one enters, no one leaves till you're in protection. And the women look confused, you know what I'm saying? When Jake mentions the protection. And Allie's like, there is no protection. And Jake says, there will be tomorrow. So Rita's like, you can't do this, Mr. Stewart. You just can't force us to bloody stay in here. And Jake is like, yes, I can, Connors. It's by order of the governor. And it's for your own good. And he leaves. And the women are there like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? So Rita's like, fuck, and goes into her cell. Boomer's like, fuck. And she goes into her cell. We hear Rita saying fuck again in her cell. Ruby goes into Rita's cell and she's like, Reets, we're not getting that phone, are we? And Rita's like, she's shaking her head, no. She turns around to look at Ruby. She was like, I'm so sorry, Ru. Shit, all my decisions, they've been wrong right from the start. And Ruby's like, no, don't say that. Rita's like, it's true. I came in here thinking I could save you, but I've gone and done the bloody opposite. I put you in here for life. And Ruby's like, sissy, you sacrificed so much. You killed for me twice. Drago, Officer Morelli. You know what I'm saying? She's like, yeah, maybe I deserve to spend 20 years in this fucking shithole. And Ruby's like, no, you did everything you could. You had to. You had no choice. And Rita's like, I don't know what to do. And she looks at Ruby and she's like, I can't see a way out. We're stuck in here. As the sisters are talking, Allie wheels up to the cell door. and she's hearing their conversation. And Rita says, without that phone, we've got no hope. And Ruby's like, hey, you're my big sister. You're my best friend. That means if we have to be in here for the next 20 years, then at least we'll be together. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. And Rita looks at Ruby with tears in her eyes, and they hug, and Rita's like, fuck. And so Allie heard this whole thing. Now we see Allie, and she wheels herself away. But she has this look in her face like she has found a reason to live again. She's found a purpose. She now has a mission. So thus begins Operation Find and Steal Luke Kelly's phone. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why Rita and Ruby have lost hope as far as finding the phone is because if they're in lockdown for the next 24 hours. So they're in lockdown for the next 24 hours, and after that, they're going to be sent to the protection unit, and then that's it. They're going to be stuck in protection. They're never going to be in general population with the rest of the women, so they're never going to have another chance to try to find and steal Luke Kelly's phone. This is it. They're fucked. So the next scene is Frazier and his homeboy pulling up to the prison. Yo, when I saw that brawler pull up to the prison, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. When they pulled up to that prison, I didn't like the way it made me feel. I was like, oh my God, this is it. There's no turning back now. In the distance, you see Dale, the NSO guy, right? And he is in a black van with his boys. And he's also got the rest of his crew in another area watching. You know what I'm saying? So Dale's in the parking lot. The rest of his squad is down yonder, and they've got eyes on the brawler. They're basically there, and they're monitoring the movements of the brawler. So Dale, he looks at his clock, his watch, and he's like, he's 45 minutes early. Frazier and his boy, they pull up, they park right there in Sallyport. You know what I'm saying? Right in front of the senior staff offices. Oh my God. They come out of the car, they're dressed in the guard uniforms, they've got their bags, you know what I'm saying? And they literally walk right into the prison. No fucking questions asked. A screw is coming out as they're coming in, and he lets them in. He lets them in. No questions asked. You've never seen these screws before, and you're just going to let them into the prison? Oh my God, you should be fired, mister. I love the sounds of the keys. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. That's one of my favorite things to hear on this show, is the sound of the keys and all the dangly bits that the guards have on their belts. We see the bomb, and there are 45 minutes left until this bomb goes off. Oh my God. Ooh. So now we're on the VI floor, and Judy's there with her lawyer. She's finishing up talking to her lawyer. Her lawyer's like, if things pan out like I expect, I'll have you out of here by tomorrow. And then Judy says something to him that shocked the shit out of me. Judy says, and would you be able to look into Luke Kelly's case for me? What? Luke Kelly's case? Bitch, you're trying to help Luke Kelly. And the lawyer's like, listen, if your father foots the bill, I'll happily take up Kelly's case. And he leaves. So when this scene happened, a light bulb went off in my head and in my heart, okay? I have a theory as to why this happened. But I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm going to save it for the end of the video, okay? But wait till you hear what I'm thinking. So, what happens next? As Judy's lawyer is walking out of the VI floor, Judy sees Frazier coming out of the visitors' bathrooms, okay? He's no longer wearing his guard uniform. He's dressed in plain clothes now. And he's walking out of the VI room with this other dude. Judy looks completely horrified when she sees this dude, okay? Shocked and fucking horrified. And Jake is like, Bryant, let's go. And she's like in a daze, staring at this motherfucker because she can't believe her eyes. So Jake snaps her out of her shit, and he's like, come on, let's go. And she leaves. So now we're in H6, you know what I'm saying? And Lou is in there, and she's pacing back and forth in the unit when all of a sudden comes running in this bitch, Judy Bryant. So Judy, oi, what is Frazier doing here? And Lou's just looking at her like, bitch, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. And she's like, Judy's like, don't play dumb with me, Lou. I just saw him coming out of the visitor's bathroom. So Lou's just there looking at Judy like, bitch, you could get these hands if you want to, because I don't fucking need you for shit no more at this point. So what you want to do? And so then she gets closer to Judy and she tells her, well, he's probably just had to change his clothes before he gets the fuck out of here. And she goes to walk away from Judy. And then Judy grabs her arm. You know what I'm saying? Like to stop Lou from leaving. Lou releases her arm from Judy's grip. And Judy tells her, what the fuck? You were supposed to cancel the plan. You know what I'm saying? While all of this is going on, what do we see in the distance? Joan Ferguson inside her cell, listening to the entire fucking thing, okay? She's listening and watching to the very end, okay? She's been doing this the entire season. And this is it. Her final act of listening, okay? Lou's like, oh, honey, either I'm a fucking genius or you're just a little bit slow. This was never about busting us out of here. That was just a bonus. And I have to stop everything and say, did I or did I not say that shit word for fucking word? I believe it was, oh my God, I think it was last episode. Damn it, and the episode was fucking removed. So last episode review, Rita was saying something to Will about, Lou Kelly just wants to escape. There, or whatever the fuck the case might be. And I was like, no, you motherfuckers are wrong. She could give two fucks about escaping. I said, she just wants to kill the senior staff. Her main goal is blowing up that part of the prison to kill the senior staff. And the whole escaping part was just a bonus. Those are my fucking words exactly. And here she goes. It's like I know these women. Listen, I'm connected to Lou Kelly through brainwaves and through my heart, okay? So Judy's like, you have to call this off. You have to stop it. But when she says this, she grabbed Lou. Like, bitch, are you crazy? Get your filthy paws off of her. She grabs her and says, you have to stop this and call this off. And Lou grabs Judy by the face. So she does one of these. Oh, I love when she does that to the women. She grabs her and she gets close to her and she says, you really think that I'm going to let Reb's death go unpunished just because you're getting out? This bomb is going off. And those guards will pay. And there is not a fucking thing you can do about it. And then Lou mushes Judy to the side. But Judy, shockingly, snaps up quick. She mushed her hard, but she came right back. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, all right, Judy, I see you, bitch. Judy comes back up with like a fire, grabs Lou's arm, and tells Lou, you call Frazier. You tell him to stop it. So Lou tells her, I'm sorry, princess. No can do. You know what I'm saying? And she walks off with her sexy ass walk back into her cell. Judy looks completely horrified. Completely horrified. Okay? All of a sudden, Linda comes in talking about, Bryant, come with me. And Judy says, where to? So Linda doesn't answer her. She just looks at her and she's like, now, Bryant. Judy, before she leaves, turns around and gives Lou this look of horror. Like she's just horrified and scared. And she walks off with Linda. And so then we see Joan looking like with this sly look, like she knows exactly what her next move is going to be. You know what I'm saying? She's going to try to escape. So, oh my God. The next scene is Joan in the halls. And she's walking to H1. She is setting her plan in motion now. So she's walking into the H1 unit. You know what I'm saying? And Rita and Allie are in the unit. Joan goes to the guard and says, I would like to speak to Corners. And the officer's like, piss off, Ferguson. And Rita's like, it's okay, Miss Ding. Mrs. Ding, make it quick. Joan goes to Rita and they start talking. You know what I'm saying? Rita, is this about the phone? And then Joan, it's about Luke Kelly. I know what she's planning. She's planning to bomb her way out of the prison. And then Rita, a bomb? And then Joan, today, I overheard her talking to Bryant. Rita, why are you telling me this? And Joan, she tells Rita, I have no love for Luke Kelly. And it doesn't matter if you don't have any love for Luke Kelly because I've got all the love in the world for Luke Kelly. And that's all Luke Kelly needs, okay? She don't need your love. She's got me. Then Joan Ferguson lifts up her steam-pressed hand to offer Rita an example of why she has no love for Luke Kelly. You know what I'm saying? And then she goes on to say, and she killed my goldfish. And I was like, yo, stop everything. Did I or did I not? Listen to me. I said this. Listen. I love it when these things happen because it makes me feel like I do know these women. You know what I'm saying? Back when we had gotten that first spoiler of that Reb dies, you know what I'm saying? I came out with this video, like, how will Reb be killed? Who will kill Reb? In that video, I speculated that Joan Ferguson, my prediction was that Joan Ferguson would kill Reb Keane. Why? To get back at Luke Kelly. Why? Because Luke Kelly killed her goldfish. She never got over it. You know what I'm saying? I was fucking right. I mean, she didn't kill Reb Keane, clearly, but she's holding a grudge because Luke killed her fish. I fucking knew it. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't going to just let the death of her goldfish go. I knew it. After Joan tells her, you know, I don't have no love for Luke Kelly. Look what she did to my hand. Plus the bitch killed my goldfish. Rita looks at Joan like, wow, you really are crazy. So then the officer Deng is like, all right, time's up, Ferguson. Let's go. And Joan looks at Rita with this look like, are you ready? And then Rita looks at her like confused, but she's like, okay, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? This was all communicated with their eyes. I love that the women can speak to one another without saying a fucking word. So they give each other these looks, and then Joan goes off and she's like, oh, I don't feel so good. And she just, you know, does this twirl and twirls her way onto the ground. She collapses onto the ground, right? And Officer Deng comes running. It was hilarious, okay? It was some of the funniest shit I've ever seen Joan do. And then what happens next? Rita looks. She sees that Officer Deng has got her back turned. This is her moment. So Rita runs out of the unit. Where you think she's going? She's headed towards my precious baby love, okay? Oh, God. The whole time, Allie's listening to their conversation, Joan and Rita. So when Rita leaves, Allie's watching her flee. And Rita looks back at Allie. And so the next scene is Linda and Judy. And Linda's locking Judy in a holding cell. These holding cells, that's where they put you before you're going to be transported somewhere. And Judy's yelling out that she wants to talk to the governor. So she's flipping out. Linda ignores her and leaves. As Linda's leaving, Anne is walking in. So Anne is like, what seems to be the problem? Judy, I don't want you. I need to speak to Mr. Jackson. And suit yourself. And she goes to walk off. And then Judy's like, fuck, fine, wait. It's Luke Kelly. Anne is like, what about her? Judy, she's gonna escape. There's a bomb. And Luke Kelly's made a bomb? Judy, no, it's inside the prison van, which is out there right now. Okay, you have to believe me. Anne, oh, I do believe you. You see, we're miles ahead of you, Bryant. We know what you've been up to for weeks. And Judy's like, no, it's not me. It's Kelly. Anne, having you here is my personal insurance. No matter what happens, you're not going anywhere. And Judy says, you don't understand, okay? I called it off. She called it back on. I cannot get caught back up in this shit. Please, I'm about to get out of here. This will ruin everything. So then Anne says, you killed my daughter. And now you're gonna fucking pay. And Judy's like confused as fuck. And she's like, your daughter? What are you talking about? And Anne says, the NSO, they told me what you did. And Judy's like, the NSO? No, you cannot believe anything those fuckers say, okay? Please, they set me up. Mrs. Reynolds, please, you have to stop him. As she's saying this, Anne is just walking away. And Judy's left there, stuck in this holding cell. So I had a couple of thoughts after this scene. My first thought was, I don't know, I feel like I know when Judy's lying and I know when she's telling the truth, and I feel like she was telling the truth. And so all this time I thought Judy was responsible for the death of Anne's daughter, but now I don't think she is. But you know why? It don't matter, because she's responsible for the death of a lot of other people. So it is what it is. Karma has come for Miss Judy Bryant, okay? In the form of Anne Reynolds. And Judy's frantic. She's in there flipping the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? She's freaking the fuck out because one of two things is going to happen. A, she's going to stay locked up for a long time. Or B, she's going to get blown up in that room due to the explosion. It could go either way. We just don't know what's going to happen at this point. So this next scene, oh my stars. Get ready. Hold on to everything that you have, because this is a scene right here. So we are inside the cell of the most beautiful prisoner to ever grace the halls of Wentworth. Her name is Lou Kelly, and she's my precious baby love. She's in there, and she's getting ready to be the fuck out. She's getting ready to blow his popsicle stand, and she's leaving the prison, okay? She's out of here. So she's getting what she needs. She goes and she grabs the cell phone from its hiding spot, and she puts it into the pocket of her track pants. And then she goes into a book and she pulls out a photograph of Reb Keen, her one true love, who's now deceased, okay? She looks at the picture. When I saw this picture of Reb, I was like, oh, Reb. You know, you see her face and she's looking at the picture and you could see that she's like so sad. But at this moment, the sadness can't win. She's got a mission, okay? So she tucks that picture safely underneath her clothes. I don't know where she put it, in her waistband, in her underwear. I don't know where she put the picture, but she tucked it into her clothes. So as she's tucking this into her clothes, what happens? Real quick before we move on, that photo of Reb, that's all she needs. Fuck everything else. She's leaving and the one thing that she wants or needs is that phone and the picture of Reb. The phone, because she's going to have to call somebody when she gets out, you know, for help, for hideouts. And the picture of Reb, you know, oh my God, it was such a touch. Listen, if I didn't know what was about to happen, I probably would have cried at her looking at the picture or got emotional. It was so sad. So what happens next? As she's tucking away his photograph, she turns around and she sees Rita at her cell door. And she looks shocked. She got caught off guard. She wasn't expecting to turn around and see Rita standing there. That shit shocked the shit out of her. I saw it in her face. But it's okay, because she could be shocked. But she ain't going to stay shocked for long. All right? This is Lou Kelly we're talking about here. So, Rita says to her, when's this bomb going off? And Lou says, it's too late. There's not a fucking thing you can do about it now. Rita, what sort of danger are the women in? So Lou looks at Rita pissed off, but she don't say nothing. She's just looking at Rita like, bitch, you asking the wrong person questions because I ain't got no answers for you. And Rita says, Lou, they don't deserve this. And Lou is just still standing there looking at her like, bitch. And Rita says, at least give them a chance to get somewhere safe. And then Lou comes out, listen, nobody gave Reb a chance, so I couldn't give a fat fuck about the women. And this is it. This is the moment, okay? Oh my God. So Lou goes to walk out of her cell when all of a sudden, boom, Rita punches the shit out of Lou dead in her fucking face. And in the process, hurts her wrist. So Rita punches Lou dead in the fucking face, and then she's like, ah, fuck, my wrist. Lou snaps back, bleeding, but not phased at all. That punch didn't phase her. It didn't knock her out. It didn't do nothing to her but make her bleed. She is fine, all right? My precious baby love is a warrior, okay? It's going to take more than that punch to knock down Lou Kelly. So Lou Kelly gets up bleeding. She charges at Rita and slams her against the wall and then punches Rita in the stomach with her left hand. And then goes to walk out the cell. Bitch, this is it. I'm done with you. You know what I'm saying? But that's not it, because Rita is also a warrior. Rita grabs Lou and she turns her around. When she turns her around, Lou Kelly headbutts Rita. She headbutts the shit out of Rita. She almost decapitated Rita. Rita's head went flying back with such a fucking force. I was like, damn. A melodramatic hurt. She wasn't almost decapitated, all right? So Lou Kelly headbutts her. Rita goes flying back. Rita comes popping back up and she punches the shit out of Lou Kelly in the face. Lou Kelly's head goes cocking back. Rita kicks Lou in the stomach. Lou then kicks Rita in the crotch. And Rita doubles over in pain. And she's like, oh, fuck, fuck. And in that moment, Lou grabs Rita and she starts giving her these knees to the fucking gut area. You know what I'm saying? 3 times in a row, she's kneeing the shit out of fucking Rita Connors right in the peepa. And it was great. You know what I'm saying? It was fucking great. And then Lou goes to swing. She goes to swing and punch Rita. Rita blocks Lou's punch. You know what I'm saying? And instead punches Lou. She punches the shit out of my precious baby love. And blood comes flying out of her mouth. Out of her mouth, all right? Oh my God. The force of Rita's punch sends Lou slamming into the fucking wall. You know what I'm saying? Rita grabs Lou's arm and turns her around and starts going in on Lou's ribs. She's just boom, 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 body shots, rib shots, just punching my precious baby love in the ribs. And I'm just like, oh my God, leave her alone. And so Joan walks into H6 in the middle of all of this, okay? And she walks in, como si nada, like if nothing's happening. Like if these two women are not beating the brakes off of one another. You know what I'm saying? So she comes in, and she looks, and she presses the panic button. And then she just, walks off like it's just a normal day in the fucking prison. I was like, I see you, Joan. This was all part of Joan's grand plan, okay? Why do you think Joan pressed the panic button? Do you think she pressed the panic button to help save Luke Kelly? She just made it clear she ain't got no love for Luke Kelly, okay? She burned her and killed her goldfish, Wanda, all right? What happens when you press the panic button? Alarms go off. There's chaos. You know what I'm saying? There's confusion. So after Joan presses the panic button, we see Allie approaching H6 as well. So Joan pulled up, Allie's now pulled up, you know what I'm saying? And she sees that Lou and Rita are fighting. So now, back to the fight. Rita grabs Lou, and she fucking flings her. This was the moment. She flings her right across the table. Lou goes tumbling off of that shit. You know what I'm saying? She goes flying. She lands on the floor. The cell phone in that moment flies out of Lou's pocket and slides underneath one of the chairs inside the unit. And Allie sees this happen. So she sees the phone. So now Rita goes right on top of Lou. She grabs Lou with one hand and she starts boom, 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 punching the shit living crap out of my precious baby love. She's down on the floor. She's bleeding. Her head is being tossed to the side with every fucking single punch. While Lou is being beaten to a bloody pulp, Joan walks into her cell and she starts combing her fucking hair, okay? She needs to look her best for this bombing. You know what I'm saying? So she's combing her hair and I'm just like, oh my God. Rita, meanwhile, is still punching the fucking crap out of Lou. So some screws come and they're yelling at Allie. Hey, what are you doing over here? You know what I'm saying? All the screws run inside H6. There's like 5 of them in total, including Linda. You know what I'm saying? Lou and Rita are screaming out all types of shit. You know what I'm saying? Allie's watching, waiting for the perfect time to go and try to get the phone. 2 guards grab Rita. 2 guards grab Lou. Lou is screaming, get the fuck off of me! And they're dragging Lou out of the fucking unit, kicking and screaming. And then Rita, I need to speak to the governor. And they're dragging her the fuck out, screaming. And Allie wheels inside of H6 at this moment to grab the phone. When all of a sudden, Linda comes. Go back to H1 now. And Allie says, no, wait. I have to go to the nurse. I'm sick. Like, trying to make an excuse to linger. And Linda's like, get her to medical. Then get her back to the unit and lock her down. And Officer Deng grabs Allie's wheelchair. And they look like they're about to leave the vicinity. You know what I'm saying? In the next scene, we're in the halls of Wentworth. And Lou and Rita are being dragged, kicking and screaming, to the slot. Rita is begging to speak to Will. Lou is flipping the fuck out, kicking, using her legs to try to stop try to stop them from dragging her into the slot. Yo, she is pissed. I've never seen Lou this angry. She's pissed. You know what I'm saying? She just got, punched several times. She didn't get her ass beat. That fight, let me tell you something real quick before we move forward. That fight, okay, it wasn't that bad. It was a great fight, and she got mad good hits in. She kicked Rita. She punched Rita. She headbutted Rita. She fucking gave Rita stomach shots, okay? She defended herself. She can hold her own in a fight. So what if she got punched several times? Did she get knocked out? No. As Rita's being put into the slot, she yells out, there is a bomb. And Linda ain't trying to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Then we see Lou yelling out, don't put me in here. As they're putting her in the slot, she's screaming to the top of her lungs. So Rita is like begging Linda, the women are in danger. They're closing the cell doors. Back to Luke Kelly in her cell. They close her into the cell. She screams out, you bastards. And she starts banging on the door. You know what I'm saying? And then Rita is yelling out, please tell Mr. Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And the guards ignore her and leave. So Rita's like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? And then Lou is like, fuck. And they both yell out fuck. Rita's fuck was an angry fuck. Lou's fuck was, oh my God, it was a guttural fuck, okay? Like a wounded animal kind of a fuck. It was a whole different kind of fuck than Rita's fuck, okay? And then Lou screeches out these words after she yelled out that fuck. She yells out, fuck you. I'm not even going to try to recreate the way that she said it because I'm going to give myself a sore throat if I do. But oh my God, it was a scream slash a screech slash that you. It was long. Oh my God, that was like the fuck you heard round the prison. Oh my God, it was great. It was great. It was heartbreaking. You know what I'm saying? The hurt and pain and rage that you hear in Lou's voice when she screeched out that fuck you. Oh my God, I felt so bad for her. She was so close. She was so close. And fucking Rita gotta come with her shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. So now we're back in the NSO's van. And Dale's like asking his people, where's Frazier? So they're like, where's the van? And the person says, they took it into the Sally Port. And Dale is like, what the hell is it doing there? He's surprised that the brawler is in Sallyport because he's expecting it to be on the south wall as per Judy's orders. You know what I'm saying? They're going by the plan that Judy made, not Lou's plan when she went rogue and decided to blow up the whole damn prison. So now we see a shot of the brawler in Sallyport. And then we see the bomb and the timer. And there are now 15 minutes left until the fucking bomb goes off. Oh, God. So now we are in a room and Vera is there looking at some files, oblivious as to what's happening in the prison. So Jake comes in and Vera's like, what was that alarm all about? Jake, age block. It was a fight between Kelly and Connors. They've both been slotted. And Vera's like, oh, there's no surprise there. Jake looks at the CCTV footage on the screen and he asks Vera, do you know what that brawler's doing in Sallyport? And Vera's like, no, why? Should I? Jake, it's been there 20 minutes. And then what happens next? Doo-doo! Detective Bennett on the case. You know what I'm saying? She goes into Detective Bennett mode. She goes to ascertain the intent of this brawler. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing in Sallyport? Why have you been here for 20 minutes? What the fuck is going on here? So the next scene is Dale in the van telling his co-workers to access the prison network and check for prisoner transfers. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, in the slot, Rita goes to her vent to try and talk to Lou. And I'm like, yo, you're going to put your hands on her the way that you did and then you want to try to like talk to her? She ain't going to listen to a word that you have to say. But let's see you try. Okay, so Rita, Lou, listen to me. There's still time to stop this. You're stuck in here now. You can't get out. The bomb's gonna go off for nothing. Rita still doesn't realize that Lou don't give two fucks about escaping. She just wants to kill the guards. So Lou's not trying to hear shit that Rita's saying. She's smiling / smirking in her slotted cell and she could give two fucks. You know what I'm saying? So now we're in Sallyport and Detective Bennett is out there investigating the brawler. Do you see how the license plate on the brawler says stay alert, stay alive? Like if it's trying to warn Vera that there is danger near. She looks into the front seat, sees that it's empty. She looks a little confused. She don't see no screws. She don't see nothing. So she goes back into the prison. She never looked in the back of the brawler. So now we're back to the NSO dudes. Remember he asked, about the transfers to find out what transfers. So the guy says there's one transfer scheduled for today at 5 p.m. So then we're back inside Wentworth and Vera goes to talk to Jake. Brian's in a holding cell for an unscheduled court transfer that Ann Reynolds logged. But nobody came through from the court all day. And so Vera was like, well, word? I'll talk to Ann. And she walks away in search of Ann, right? Back to the NSO guy. He tells Dale, Judy Bryant, that's the prisoner being transferred. And then Dale's like, oh shit, they're not going to bomb their way out of here. They've come in for an extraction. And then, Dale tells his squad, change of plans. We'll wait till 1700 hours. We wait till Brian gets into the back of that van. Then we pounce. They're stupid. That's what's happening here. They've got the plan all mixed up. There is so much confusion within these walls and outside these walls as far as this bomb and what the actual plan is. They don't know. So now they're thinking that there is no bomb. But there's a bomb. Okay, so Linda is now in the governor's office. So Linda goes to Will. hey, here's a new one. Bomb threat. And Will is like, what? And Linda's like, Kelly and Connors got stuck into each other. Connors was going off. Something about a bomb. I thought I'd better report it. And Will, he's like mad concerned in the face. And he's like, where's Connors now? End of scene. Back in the slot, Rita telling Lou. Rita is telling Lou, I'd give anything to be out of here too. But no matter how fucked off you are, you should never give up on hope. And then Lou is like, you must have never been this fucked off, Connors. And Rita's shocked as shit. She's shocked because Lou is talking to her. You know what I'm saying? She's answering her. So Rita sits down and kneels and gets closer to the vent. So Lou continues on. There's no morality in this place. Nothing good lives here. And you want to talk to me about hope? Get fucked. And then Lou goes on to say, my hope died with a fucking rope tied around his neck. And I was like, oh my God. I got choked up when I heard her say this because it was heartbreaking. Her hope died with a fucking rope around his neck. Oh my God, Lou Kelly, if you don't kill all of these people. So Rita's like, you're wrong, Lou. There is good in here. Good people, like Reb. What happened to him was bloody awful. I know you loved him. There's people I love in here too who don't deserve to get hurt, who don't deserve to lose their hope. It's all we got, Lou. You take that away, there's fuck all left. And Lou just looks like, oh well. And she says, then there's fuck all left. And I was like, that's right, okay? Stick to your guns, Lou. Lou's done, you know what I'm saying? She's got no love left in her. Only hate remains, you know what I'm saying? Revenge is all that matters now. There is no turning back now. This whole place is going down, you know what I'm saying? That's her mind frame. Those are her thought processes. In this next clip, we see the bomb and the timer. Oh my God, and there are now 30 seconds until this fucking bomb goes off. Jesus Christ. So the NSO guys, they get out of the black van and they go, guns drawn, over to the brawler. You know what I'm saying? We see a shot of Luke Kelly in the slot sitting on the floor. The next shot is the bomb and the timer is ticking. The next shot is Rita in the slot sitting on the floor. Back to the ticking time bomb. Now we're seeing the NSO dudes running up on the brawler. Dale approaches the back of the van with 10 seconds left before the bomb goes off. And he sees this tarp with something under it. And he looks confused and he says, where the fuck is Bryant? And then boom, the bomb explodes. Oh my God. So you see the bomb go off. You see all of this fucking smoke. Or the whole center chunk of Wentworth Correctional Center collapses. And you hear the fucking bricks falling on top of each other. And then the screen goes dark. And I was just like, oh shit. When that piece of the building just fell like that and you heard it, I was like, oh my God. So now the aftermath of the bomb. The lights are flashing. You know what I'm saying? We hear this ringing in the distance. And we see Will Jackson regaining consciousness. He's bleeding from his head. Slowly, his hearing is becoming clearer. You know what I'm saying? And he hears cries for help coming from the women. It's chaos. You hear Jake trying to make contact via the walkie-talkie. You know what I'm saying? Will starts walking and he sees that snotty-ass nurse lying dead on the floor. Bomb casualty number 1. Nurse Shin. You hear people on the walkie-talkie saying that the executive level is gone. You know what I'm saying? It's dark. It's everything is black. There's like hardly no lights. There's fucking sparks flying. There's smoke. It's a fucking mess in this prison. The next scene is Rita regaining consciousness in the slot. She gets up and she starts trying to push her cell door open. The next scene is Allie on her chair, coughing. She's surrounded by smoke and dust in the hallway. She's literally covered in fucking dust, okay? Now we're in the halls and we see Linda in the halls, rounding up the inmates, looking for everyone and getting everyone outside. She sees Will. Will is helping the women as well. You know what I'm saying? Back to Rita. Rita makes it out of the slot and she sees Mullet lying dead on the ground. Oh my God. Bomb casualty number 2. Mandy Frost, aka Mullet. Oh shit. So She sees what I think is a dead guard also. And she takes their swipe card. You know what I'm saying? But the swipe card doesn't work because the systems are fucked due to the bomb. You know, the electrical door mechanisms. So now we're back with Allie. And she's calling out for Mrs. Ding. And she tries to wheel off, but she's stuck amidst the rubble. And then she sees her, Mrs. Ding, dead on the ground. Bomb casualty number 4, because that other guard was bomb casualty number 3. Honestly, I don't know if that was a guard or if the swipe card just ended up there, but we're gonna go with it, okay? So casualty number 4, Officer Ding. Allie tries to reach for her, but she can't. She's too far. You know what I'm saying? And so she's there trying to make her way out of the rubble. So now we're in H1 and we see Boomer and Ruby have made it, okay? But they're trapped inside their unit. And inmates are running past them. They're yelling. Boomer and Ruby are yelling for help. And the women don't want to help them because even in the midst of this bomb and this explosion, the women still hate them, okay? And don't want to help them. So Boomer's like, oh, hell no. I just got knocked up. I am not losing everything now. So more inmates running by and nobody's helping them. Back to Allie. She's yelling out, hey, I'm in here. I need help. Back to Will. Will is in the middle of this chaos, okay? Trying to help trapped women get to freedom. And all of a sudden, he sees an inmate being carried by another inmate. And one of the inmates has her foot missing. Her foot has been blown off due to the explosion. And Will is just looking on in horror and shock. You know what I'm saying? The alarms are sounding. It's dark. There's chaos, smoke, clouds of dust, lights hanging from the ceiling. Like, it's crazy. Back in the slot with Rita. And Lou wakes up and runs to the door and yells, somebody open the fucking door and get me the hell out of here. And Rita walks up to Lou's door. And Lou looks at Rita and gives her this look like, you better not play no games, bitch. Now is not the time to get revenge. You better open this door. And Rita looks at Lou and says, fuck you. Oh my God. And she leaves. She leaves Lou Kelly in the slot to die, basically. I couldn't believe it. I was like, damn, Rita. So Rita ends up crawling through a hole to make her way out of the slot. So now we're back in H1 and Zaina comes running to Ruby and Boomer. And I got so excited when I saw Zaina. I was like, yes, Zaina will help you guys because she loves you, Ruby. Zaina comes running and she tells them it was a bomb that went off and that half the prison is gone. And Boomer's like, what do you mean gone? And Zaina's like, gone. And Ruby's like, what? Have you seen Rita? And Zaina's like, no. And Ruby's like, what about Allie? And Zaina's like, nope. And the whole time, Zaina's trying to like open the gate from the outside. So sweet it was to see Zaina trying to save the life of her woman. Ruby tells Zaina, listen, go look for a guard and bring them over here so that they can let us out. It's the only way. You know what I'm saying? So Zaina leaves to go get help for her boo. Okay? So now we see Jake and Will, and they have met up in the midst of this chaos. And Jake asks as Will, have you seen Vera? That she was headed up to the executive level. And Will puts this face like, oh my God. And he tells Jake, there is no executive level. Shh, Jesus Christ. And Jake looks scared and shocked. Now we're back to Allie. Allie sees the ceiling looking like it's going to collapse. And then it does. It collapses, all right? Mad dust clouds come, filling up the room. We're back in H1 and we see dust coming from the ceiling having fallen. Dust comes flying from one of the doors and it fills H1 with smoke. We're back to Allie now and she sees in the distance an exit door. Remember that door in the cell in H1 that I was like, what is this door all about? She sees one of those doors in one of the other units and she says to herself, salvation will be mine if I can just make it to that door. You know what I'm saying? The next clip is Vera. She's woken up and she's walking, you know, confused, not really knowing what's going on. She looks a little disoriented and shocked, you know what I'm saying? When suddenly she stumbles upon the body of Judy Bryant on the floor. And she goes to help her. She turns her around and what she sees is a treacherous bitch named Judy Bryant having been killed, all right? Due to a piece of Wentworth being blown into her by the force of the explosion and stabbing her through what looks like the heart. Bitch, Judy Bryant ain't got no heart. She's a cold-blooded bitch. She's a heartless bitch. It was so fitting that this piece of Wentworth, I don't know if it was a piece of wood, wall, what, but it stabbed her. Here. She's gone. And I was like, yes. Casualty number, I don't know at this point, Judy Bryant's punk ass, okay? She's gone forever. Good riddance to bad rubbish. So back to Vera. So Vera looks at her. She's horrified, but you can see that she also feels bad for Judy Bryant. Back to Allie. So Allie's on the floor now, dragging herself over to the door. She is struggling, dragging herself through the rubbish, through the rubble, through the fallen pieces of Wentworth. You know what I'm saying? And when she's doing this, she realizes where she is. She's inside H6, the unit. She sees the chair, and she sees the phone underneath the chair. Oh my God. So now she's got a new mission. Fuck the door. I need to get to this phone. So she starts heading towards the phone. Back to Vera now. Vera is walking through the halls of Wentworth, okay? And she sees Anne in an office looking through some files. Like if a bomb did not just go off in the middle of the fucking prison. Está loca, okay? She's completely fucking lost it. So Vera's like, Anne, what are you doing? And Anne is like looking through paperwork. And she's like, I have to find the paperwork. I filed it this morning. This filing system is a disaster. And she's like all calm and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she's not calm, but it's like normal Anne. She's behaving as if an explosion didn't just happen. And Vera's like, what paperwork? And Anne is like, what do you mean, what paperwork? Judy Bryant's court transfer. And Vera's like, Anne, we have to get out. The building's being evacuated. You know what I'm saying? And Anne's like, it's got Bryant's name on it and my signature. And Vera's like, what are you talking about? And Anne says, we had to let the bomb in, Vera. We had to. We had to tie the whole thing to Judy Bryant. And Vera's like, you let the bomb in? And Anne is like, where is it? And Vera's like, Anne. And Anne is like, what? And Vera's like, you let this happen. People are dead. Innocent people. And Anne is like, Judy Bryant planted this bomb. She killed my daughter. She has to pay. And Vera says, Judy Bryant is over there. And she's dead. And Anne says, she's dead? Bryant's dead? And then she smiles and exhales with this like sigh of relief and joy. And Vera's looking at her like, oh shit, this bitch done lost her mind. And she walks away. She leaves the office. Anne realizes that, you know, Vera's just like not on her side at this point. Vera walked off, right? So now Anne follows Vera. She's like, Vera, you can't tell anyone. And Vera looks at her and walks away defiantly. You know what I'm saying? So what happens next? Some of the most shocking shit that I was not expecting to happen next. That's what happens next. So Anne storms after Vera. She pushes Vera to the floor. Vera falls on her back. Anne now straddles Vera, okay? She's on top, choking the shit out of Vera, talking about, you can't tell anyone. And so she's choking her. She is strangling the life out of Vera because if Vera tells, Anne goes to jail, okay? So she's got these crazy eyes going on, and Vera's trying to get Anne off, but Anne overpowers Vera. Anne is choking the life out of Vera. She's almost dead. You know what I'm saying? So as this scene is going on, I'm like, I know exactly how this scene ends. I wasn't worried for Vera's life because I knew that Vera wasn't going to be dying here at the hands of Anne. So what happens next? Vera's almost dead. She's almost fucking dead. She's almost dead. But she looks and she sees someone appear behind Anne. Who appeared behind Anne? Joan fucking Ferguson, okay? Comes from behind Anne, grabs Anne by the head, pulls Anne off of Vera. Vera gasps for air, and Joan Ferguson proceeds to snap Anne's neck right then and there, right in front of Vera. Anne falls to the ground, dead as a doornail. And Joan now comes close and hovers over Vera. And Vera's looking at Joan like, what in the fuck? And Vera passes the fuck out. She faints right there. So now we are outside the prison, okay? okay? I'm gonna call this little area ground zero because this is like the main spot where they're gathering the prisoners. The fire department's there, the ambulances are there, the cops are there, the women are there, the screws are there. Like, this is ground zero, okay? Rita runs outside. She has found her way out of the slot. She's very resourceful, Rita is, okay? So she comes out and she's yelling out for Ruby. Ruby, Ruby, is Ruby Mitchell here? So Rita's like, Ruby, and Ruby's like, Rita. And she sees Rita and runs to Rita. They hug with happiness, okay? Boomer joins them. And they're all there. They're all asking each other if they're okay. And everyone's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right. And then they're like, Allie, no one knows where she is. She's missing. And we can't go back inside and try to find her. You know what I'm saying? And Boomer's like, it's going to be all right. The firefighters will find her and they're going to bring her out. You know what I'm saying? So while this is going on, Will Jackson is passing by talking to Jake. And Rita hears their conversation. So Will is like, have the prisoners in isolation been released? Meaning Luke Kelly, because she's in isolation, all right? So he's like, have the prisoners in isolation been released? And Jake is like, yep. So now Rita knows that Luke Kelly has been freed. You know what I'm saying? She's out of the slot and she's amidst the chaos and commotion, okay? And so Linda comes to talk to Will. And she tells him the prisoners are escaping into no man's land. And Will is looking like in disbelief. He can't believe what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But he's keeping it together. So Will is like, get a team together and we'll round them up. So Rita hears this as well. And then she goes and runs off to find Lou. And I'm just like, yo, just leave her alone, okay? Your sister's alive. Just leave Lou Kelly the fuck alone already. Fucking Rita, bro. So now we're back to Allie. And Allie is struggling to reach the phone. You know what I'm saying? She's so fucking close to this phone. It's just fingertips away. The fire department is there. And they're calling out, is anyone here? And Allie don't say nothing. Why? Because she wants the phone. Once she gets to the phone, then she could call for help. But she can't risk them just dragging her out and her not getting the phone. You know what I'm saying? So she doesn't say anything when they're calling out, is there anyone here that needs help? So what happens? Allie reaches and she gets to the phone. And the moment that she grabs the phone, the ceiling collapses right on top of her. Oh my God. So now we're back outside. And we're out on the grass in no man's land. You know what I'm saying? And Linda is running after inmates that are trying to flee. There are mad different prisoners. Like a bunch of women are out there just running towards freedom. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to escape this bitch. Like they're leaving. They're out of here. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the chaos, we see a lone stallion running wild and free towards the fence that leads to freedom. That stallion is my precious baby love, Luke Kelly. Oh my God. I love that scene, how we go from seeing one inmate being tackled to the ground by the screws. We see other inmates running and being tackled by the screws. And then it goes back to the center and we see this beautiful woman running, okay? Running to escape. And it's Lou. Oh my God. I love her. So she's running like this is what she does. You know what I'm saying? And she sees the fence and she jumps onto the fence. I loved that jump. That jump was like a leap onto the fence. And like she'd been doing this her whole life. You know what I'm saying? Just jumping fences and running. And so she's climbing this fence like with such ease and grace. You know what I'm saying? Like a fucking, like this is what she does. She climbs fences, all right? And she makes it to the top. She has got both of her hands on the top of that fence and her next move was to jump over that bitch. And that is it. She would have been out. There would have been no stopping her. And then what happens? Oh, God. Rita Connors happens next, puñeta. She comes out of fucking nowhere, okay? And she pulls at the leg of my precious baby love to try to knock her down from the fence. So she pulls her once, Luke Kelly doesn't budge. She pulls her again, Luke Kelly's still not having it. And so she lets her go and just grabs her on her body and, oh my God, she slams she just fucking got her off of that fence. With a fury, hard. She slammed the shit out of Luke Kelly on the grass. Luke Kelly falls onto the grass, okay? Rita kicks her and says, this is for Mari. Then she grabs Luke Kelly and she says, this is for Ruby. And she punches Luke Kelly in the face. Hard, okay? And then she says, and this is for me. And then she punches Lou Kelly again in the fucking face. Really hard. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Stop hitting her in the fucking face. So then she grabs Lou's arm. She turns Lou and puts Lou on her stomach. Lou is screaming. You know what I'm saying? And she takes Lou's arms, puts them behind her back. So she's holding Lou Kelly's arms behind her back with one hand, and with the other hand is mushing Lou Kelly's head into the fucking grass. What is wrong with you, Rita? What if she can't breathe down there? Oh my God. So then Linda walks up on them and she's like, Connors. And Rita's like, she's responsible for all of this. And then Rita looks at Lou and she says, bitch, you're under arrest. And I was like, oh, hell no. First of all, don't be out here calling Lou no bitch, okay? And when she said bitch, she said it with such feeling, okay? It reminded me of the way that when I called Judy Bryant a bitch. Like, bitch, you don't talk like that to Lou Kelly. You're under arrest. I thought she wasn't a cop no more. But whatever, you don't have no handcuffs. So you didn't really arrest her. Oh, it pissed me off. I hate it when she took, bitch, you're under arrest. Bitch, how about you shut the fuck up? So Lou is huffing and puffing and she's pissed off. And I said to myself, this is not the last of Lou Kelly, okay? Shh. You may have won this battle, but there is a war that will continue. Mark my words. Oh, this scene right here. Get your tissues ready, okay? So in this scene, we're back inside Wentworth and Allie is there after the ceiling fell on her. You know what I'm saying? And she looks like she's on death's door. And she's laying there, you know, with her face facing up, like towards the ceiling that just collapsed on her. And all of a sudden, she sees these lights. She sees these orbs. You know what I'm saying? These round balls of light. Legend says that these orbs, when you see them in photos or in person, that these are the souls of your loved ones coming to visit you. This scene was so sad. This scene was everything, you know what I'm saying? So she's laying there and she's seeing these orbs, you know what I'm saying? And there's a bunch of them. And I'm like, oh, this is it. And so she's looking and then the light is getting brighter. The same way it happened with Mari. And I'm like, oh God, Allie's gonna die. And I'm like, but this is it. This is the moment where she's gonna see B. Smith. And so I'm thinking that we're gonna see B. Smith as well, but we just see the lights getting brighter, you know what I'm saying? And then we see Allie's face and the light is shining on her face and her eyes just light up. You know what I'm saying? Her eyes light up like she has seen something that's the most wonderful thing that she could ever lay eyes on. And she smiles. She's looking with wonder and she smiles and she says, B. You know what I'm saying? And we don't see B. Smith, but we see Allie's face. Yo, when I tell you, that shit was fucking beautiful. You know what I'm saying? That scene right there. And I know that we all wanted so much to see B. Smith again, but I feel the way they did this scene was fucking beautiful. Where just Allie sees her. Oh, it was just beautiful. It was great. It was one of the best scenes ever in Wentworth. It was such a touching and moving scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you have someone who has passed away that you love so much, and then you see them again. It was so good. So I was like, oh my God. But at that moment, I wasn't convinced that Allie was gonna die. I was like, no, I don't think she dies. I don't think she dies. I think she's seeing B, but I don't think she's gonna die. So now we're back outside, okay? And we see Lou Kelly in handcuffs. Oh God. So this is the moment. We see Lou Kelly in handcuffs and they're walking her towards this ground zero area. And Rita is walking behind her, you know what I'm saying? And the two officers are with Lou. And Rita looks at Lou. And when Lou looks and realizes that it's Rita in front of her, she gives her this look. Like, bitch, this means war and I will never rest until you're dead. You know what I'm saying? That's the look that Lou gives Rita. And Rita smirks at Lou like she ain't got no respect for this woman. And she walks off. So Rita comes up to Boomer and Ruby. And Rita's like, what's going on? And Ruby's like, they say there was a collapse in H Block. And Boomer's like, the roof caved in and they can't get to it. And Rita says, have they found Allie? Did they get her out? And Boomer's like, no. So they all are left looking concerned. You know what I'm saying? Zaina's with them at this point. So the next scene where we see like it's dark, there's shadows and there's grass. It's like a dark grassy area, and all we see are like this light and some shadows emerging from the darkness. It is Joan Ferguson, okay, holding a limp, lifeless looking Vera Bennett in her hands, in her arms, like wedding style. The way you would carry your bride across the threshold, that's how Joan was carrying Vera Bennett's body. She places her on the grass gently, okay, and starts wiping the dirt and dust off of Vera's face. All of a sudden, Vera wakes up, looking confused, but not frightened at all. And Vera tells Joan, you carried me out. And Joan is, above Vera, looking down at her. Her hair is blowing in the wind. She looked absolutely fucking beautiful, Joan did in this scene. I was like, damn, this woman is stunning, okay? She looked really pretty in this scene. I've always thought that Joan Ferguson was sexy. Let me just throw that out there. Joan goes on to say, you asked me why I did what I did in court, what my endgame was. I didn't know the answer to that till just now. You know what I'm saying? And the tone of her voice was a tone of voice that I've never heard come from Joan Ferguson. It was different from any other time that she has spoken. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, I feel like this is the real Joan. Like what we're seeing here, this is Joan. This is the Joan that she always wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. So she takes her steam pressed hand and puts it over Vera's hand. This part here with Joan putting her hand on Vera's hand was like a full circle moment. Because remember back, I think in whatever season it was, where Joan had Vera over for dinner and she touched her hand. And then when Vera told her that she had hepatitis, Joan backed up. And at this moment, Joan didn't care about Vera's hepatitis. She loves her. And leans in closer to Vera. I thought for a second there she was going to kiss the bitch. She doesn't. She gives Vera the reason for what she did in court. So she's like, you asked me why I did what I did in court, what my end game was, and I didn't know the answer to that until just now. A child needs her mother. She gets up and she smiles at Vera. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't kill you, bitch, because your daughter needs you. All right? The same way that I needed my mother, but I didn't have her because my father drowned her in a fucking tub during my adolescence, all right? And so I didn't want your daughter to potentially grow up and be like me because she didn't have her mom. Can you believe it? Oh my God. And so she gets up, she smiles at Vera, and Vera watches Joan as she walks into the darkness and disappears. You know what I'm saying? Only God knows where the fuck Joan went. But it was definitely not back into the crumbled walls of Wentworth. That bitch is out. She could be anywhere at this point, all right? Oh my God. And I was just like, wow. Wow. So back in Ground Zero, Lou is being like thrown onto a chair. Like, have some fucking respect for her. Don't manhandle her. Just because she set off a bomb doesn't mean that you gotta manhandle this bitch. You got a lot of nerve, police officers. So she's being plopped into the damn chair. Body bags are being zipped up. Head counts are being done. And then Boomer's like, yo, fuck the head count. We gotta get inside. We gotta get Allie out of there. And Linda's like, Jenkins, H1 is gone. I'm sorry. And when I heard Linda say I'm sorry, I was like, yep, that's right. Linda, she's back, and she's back for good. Old Linda would have never said she was sorry, okay? We've got our Linda back, and I'm so glad. They all look sad because now they all believe that Allie's dead because H1 has crumbled, has collapsed. And so now Vera is on the scene at Ground Zero. And Jake sees her and runs to her. Oh my God. He loves her. She loves him. They hug. You know what I'm saying? They're asking each other if they're hurt. She's like, nah, I'm okay. Vera's like, is everybody out? And then Will comes onto the scene. And he's like, no, not yet. The firemen are clearing the building, but the collapsed roof is making it really hard. And then he looks at Vera and he's like, Vera, Ann Reynolds was one of the casualties. I'm really sorry. Casualty number 784, Ann Reynolds. But she wasn't a casualty of the bomb. Joan Ferguson killed her, okay? Just like I said, like I knew that Joan Ferguson had to kill at least one person before the show ended. She had to. Never in a million years did I think it was going to be Ann Reynolds. So then Will tells Vera, Allie Novak, we haven't found her yet. And then Vera puts this face like, oh man, fuck, please don't tell me that Ali is dead. You know what I'm saying? After all she's been through, she's gonna die in the rubble. So Linda comes out of nowhere and tells them that Ferguson is amongst the prisoners that are unaccounted for. Doom, doom, doom. And Will, he looks like, oh shit. And Jake is like, wait a minute, if she's dead, she's not our problem anymore. And Will looks at him like, what's wrong with you? And Jake is like, what? And Will is like, come on, we've got work to do. Let's go. So Vera's left there knowing the entire time that Joan escaped. And she's alive. She's very much alive. She's definitely not dead. And she's out there somewhere in the world. And so she stares off into the distance. And it's like, you know, she could be anywhere. She could be behind the ambulance hiding. She could be behind a bush. But she's not. She's like at least 20 minutes away from the prison in either direction. She's gone. She didn't waste no time. So now we're still in ground zero and Ruby sees a dead body being taken out. She says Boomer's name and motions for Boomer to look. They're all looking towards this dead body and they're all wondering, you know, could it be Ali? And so, oh my God, then what happens? All of a sudden, we see another stretcher being brought in. Oh my God, this is it, world. This is the last scene of Wentworth, season 9, episode 10. Whew. So they see the dead body and then they see this other stretcher being pulled out. You know what I'm saying? And when we look, it's Ali. It is Ali on the stretcher. She's alive and well. And this song starts playing. This song, Stand By Me. So remember when I was saying earlier about Boomer when she was telling Ruby about Gavin and how he's going to stand by me is what she said. He's going to stand by me. And then the final song that they play for us on Wentworth is that song. Oh my God. So when I saw Ali turn that corner on that gurney, I screamed out, oh, Ali, she's alive. I got choked up, just like I'm getting right now. Rita is the first one to see Ali and she says, hey, Boomer. Here's Ali. And then that's when the song Stand By Me starts playing. And when I tell you I got choked up, because I was so happy to see that Ali has survived. You know what I'm saying? After all this bitch went through. And she made it out alive. You know what I'm saying? She is a fucking survivor, Ali is. So Boomer sees Ali and she screams out, Ali, you know what I'm saying? And she's crying with tears of joy and she runs up to Ali. And she's just like overwhelmed with joy to see Ali is alive. You know what I'm saying? Rita and Ruby run up to her too. Everyone's crying. They're all gathered around the stretcher. They're all kissing her, hugging her, loving her, telling her how happy they are that she's there. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of that, Vera hears Boomer's cries. And when she looks, she sees that Ali's alive. And she smiles. You know what I'm saying? With relief and happiness. And so then Boomer goes to Ali and she's like, I thought you were squished under a roof or something. And Ali is like, I was till those fireys pulled me out. The firefighters. And Ruby's like, it's so amazing you're still alive. And then Vera's in the distance looking on, smiling with happiness. And Rita's like, you gave us a scare, girl. The song is still playing in the background. Oh my God, it was great. And I'm sitting there crying, watching the whole thing. Boomer looks at Ali and she's like, it's a freaking miracle. And Ali looks at Boomer and she's like, you might be right. You know what I'm saying? And then Ali looks at Rita and says, hey, I got you something. And the music is playing and I just couldn't take it. I couldn't fucking take it. She pulls out Lou's cell phone and gives it to Rita. And Rita looks shocked and looks at the phone and then looks at Ruby and then tells Ali, how the fuck did you do this? You're a legend. And she kisses her on the forehead. Rita tells Ali, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Vera's looking, smiling. She grabs Will and motions for him to look at the women, that Ali's alive. And then Will is there looking, smiling. Jake comes. So all three of the guards, Jake, Vera, and Will, are standing together amidst the craziness, looking at this happy moment happening between the women of H1. Ruby, Rita, Boomer, Ali. The music is playing in the background. The girls are smiling and crying with joy. You know what I'm saying? And the camera is getting higher, so you're seeing all of this view From a higher distance, you see Lou just a few feet away from the women of H1, still handcuffed, sitting at the chair. You know what I'm saying? The song Stand By Me is playing. I'm crying. And then it ends. Oh my God. The credit screen came. And when I tell you, I literally burst into tears. Like, I was crying regularly, but then, you know, when you're that type of cry happened next. I was like, I can't believe it's finished. And I'm just like, I started to cry. And as the credits are rolling, we hear this song. And the song that you hear during the ending credits, that was the song, that was the theme music to the original show, Prisoner Cell Block H. And so, oh my God, it was great. So I'm crying, and in the middle of me crying, I realized that they've got bloopers on the screen now. So I went from crying to laughing at some of these bloopers to just crying again. You know what I'm saying? And oh my God, it was so good. That was it. The ending of the final episode ever of Wentworth. Yo, when I tell you, I knew I was going to be sad, but I wasn't expecting to cry as much as I did. The way that I cried at the ending of that episode was crazy to me. And I was just like, wow, I knew that I loved the show, but I didn't realize how emotionally invested I was in these characters until it came to an end. Because when I tell you, I was literally on the verge of tears for the rest of the day. Like, thinking about it when I was taking my notes. Oh my God, it was just such a fucking great show. And I will never let Wentworth die. Wentworth will live on forever as long as I am alive. And I've got now some thoughts. So this is it. We're going to do a few different things now. The ending of this video has not come. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts now. Okay, so after watching this, and now we know what happened to other characters, I think the reason why Joan Ferguson pressed the panic button was to cause more chaos. She wanted to cause chaos in the prison. That way she could have a chance to like hide somewhere when the bomb went off. That way she could also have a chance to escape without anyone knowing or seeing or hearing where she went. She hides in the prison during the chaos of the panic button being rung. Bomb goes off. She escapes. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she anticipated saving Vera's life. That just happened. Judy Bryant's treacherous ass. Okay, we all knew she had to die, and I, for one, have never been more pleased at a character's death. Okay? My question though is, who really killed Judy? Number one, was it Anne Reynolds for putting Judy in the holding cell? 2, was it Lou for not calling off the bomb? 3, was it Judy who sealed her own fate by setting the bomb plan in motion to begin with? Or was it simply just poetic justice? You know what I'm saying? Meaning that the explosion killed her. If you ask me, I feel like it was a mix of all of these things. You know what I'm saying? Out of all of these things, I feel like ultimately Judy sealed her own fate. Had it not been for Judy coming up with this bomb plan in order to save her life from Lou not killing her, drowning her in the trash bin, the bomb would have never been in the prison. It would have never gone off. Judy would have never died. So at the end of everything, I don't think, technically the explosion killed her. You know what I'm saying? But if you look deeper into it, Judy killed herself. She sealed her own fucking fate. You know what I'm saying? Had she not been a bitch and a terrorist, she would have never died due to this bombing. She got what she deserved. It was a fantastic death. You know what I'm saying? For Judy, it was fitting. I wasn't disappointed. I was thoroughly satisfied. You know what I'm saying? And Judy Bryant, she won't be missed. So I'm going to talk more about Judy Bryant. So remember when Judy Bryant was talking to her lawyer and she was like, can you help Lou Kelly's case? And the lawyer said, I can if your father pays the bill. Why in the fuck would Judy offer to help Lou Kelly? Judy's a selfish bitch who don't give two fucks about nothing or nobody but herself and her freedom. You know what I'm saying? So why the fuck would she offer to help Lou Kelly? I'm going to tell you why. Ready? You're not ready for this. Oh my God. So this is what I think is going to happen. I think that the writers of Wentworth are brilliant, okay? And they know exactly what they're doing. So Joan Ferguson, we saw that she escaped, right? having walked into the shadows, and nobody knows where the fuck she is now. She's out there. She's out there. Okay? Just hear me out. There will be a spinoff. Oh, by the way, there's like a spinoff petition for people to sign. I'm going to put the link in the description box down below. And if you want to sign this petition so that there could be a Wentworth spinoff. Judy's dead now. You know what I'm saying? But the lawyer knows what Judy's last request was. So I feel like Judy Bryant's father is going to fulfill the wishes of his daughter. He wasn't there for her growing up. Clearly, we know this. She told us. You know what I'm saying? We heard it during their phone call. He wasn't there for her growing up, and then when he finally was there, it was too late. She ends up being killed in this bombing. But she made one last request before she died. Her last request before she died was for the lawyer to help Luke Kelly's case. So I feel that this happened because they're gonna give us a spinoff. They're giving us a spinoff, and it's not gonna just be a Luke Kelly spinoff. Oh no, no, no. It is going to be a Luke Kelly, Joan Ferguson, Rita, and Ruby spinoff. Oh yes, and I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. So they're setting the stage to leave it open for the show to return. I don't know if it's gonna be another Wentworth, like continuation of Wentworth, or if it's gonna be a different show but with the characters of Wentworth. So Judy Bryant's father goes to the lawyer and tells him, my daughter wanted you to take on the case of Luke Kelly, and I'm going to pay the bills so that you can do so. It was her last wish before dying. You know what I'm saying? So the lawyer is going to go to Luke Kelly and be like, listen, the lawyer is basically going to help Luke Kelly get out of jail. And Luke Kelly is now, what? Released from prison. So Luke Kelly is now a free woman. Joan Ferguson is now a fugitive on the run. You know what I'm saying? And then Rita and Ruby, they fall into the mix because Allie got the phone. Allie got the phone, which means what? That Ruby and Rita will eventually be released because now they have the evidence that they need in order to help them. So they're going to make it out of Wentworth. That's it. That's they've got their happy ending. So they're going to make it out of Wentworth. But remember the look that Lou gave Rita in Ground Zero when Rita passed by her after getting Lou arrested. Lou gave her this look like, it's not over, bitch. You haven't heard the last of me. And so what happens? Lou is released, and she makes it her only mission in life to go after Rita, to seek revenge. So that's the spin-off show. Lou getting freed because of Judy, seeking revenge against Rita, and in the background, Joan is lingering free, and we don't know what she's gonna do. So that is what I think is gonna happen. Another one of my thoughts was Zaina is so loyal, Ruby. I hope you do right by her when you get released. Continue to visit her in Wentworth, write her letters, send her money for commissary. You know what I'm saying? I felt so bad for Joan. You know what I'm saying? She just needed a mom this entire time. Had she had her mother growing up, she wouldn't have grown up to become this murderous, crazy bitch. You know what I'm saying? And so to answer some questions we had before the season even started, like who will be Wentworth's final governor? The answer is Will Jackson. Will Jackson remained governor, as he should. He deserves that spot, nobody else. And as for who is Wentworth's final top dog, I never would have thought, but it's Luke Kelly. Because yeah, it ends with her in handcuffs, but the facts are she's still the top dog. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't a vote. There wasn't a fight. Rita's clearly not going to be the top dog because she don't want it, and she's on her way out of the jail. Luke Kelly, I'm sure, won't stay top dog for long, but for now, when it ends, she's top dog. Really quick, remember my video, the top 10 things that I must see happen in Wentworth season 9? So these were the top things. And out of the 10 things that I wanted to see happen, I got to see 5 of them, right? And then 2 of them, like half of what I wanted to see. So I got to see Luke Kelly's rampage, her in her full fury, you know what I'm saying? And for her to live until the end. And that came to be. That was number 1. The next one, Mari's redemption. And it happened. And then the next one was Ruby getting paroled and getting out of Wentworth alive. We didn't see her get paroled, but we know that freedom is hers and she made it out alive. You know what I'm saying? The next one was Linda to get it together and realize Anne is using her and do right by the women. And it happened. Linda got her shit together. And when she says to Boomer at the end, I'm sorry, we know that, you know, she's going to be doing right by the women moving forward. The next one was Lou and Reb to have one final moment of love, a love scene. And we saw that in episode 1. And then the other two things that I only got to see half. I want to see Will stay on as governor and for him to bring Ann Reynolds down. He didn't bring Ann Reynolds down, but he did stay on as governor. You know what I'm saying? And then the last one was Allie to walk again and to see or hear B. Smith some way, somehow. So she got to see B. Smith. That was it. And I'm so glad with what I did get to see. Oh my God, world. I just want to give a big thank you to everyone, to Craig, to Gail for always helping me watch the episodes earlier. You know what I'm saying? I want to say thank you to everyone that has been chit-chatting with me, leaving me comments throughout these review videos. Like, it has been great talking about the show with y'all. And it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop because we are starting this from the beginning, okay? From season 1. So before I end this video, I just wanted to do a quick look back at Wentworth, the show that we all love so much. You know what I'm saying? It has been one hell of a ride. You know what I mean? And so now I just want to give, like, you know how, like a curtain call, like a final curtain call kind of a thing, you know what I'm saying? And just, you know, show you guys all the characters. So here are all the characters. Not all of them. I mean, I'm sure I forgot some, but here are all the characters that we came to know and love.
I used to think if I couldn't find hope, I should just let it all go. I used to think if I couldn't make dreams come true, I should just let them all go. When life seems impossible, look from a new angle. Change just one little thing. When life feels intolerable, find your true source of love. Concentrate, focus on love. Center and focus on love. Dedicate, focus on love. Focus on
Wentworth, you will never be forgotten, okay? All right, world. That was it. That was the ending of this video. Thank you to everyone who has helped me along the way making these videos. Gail, Craig. Thank you to everyone who has chit-chatted with me. Jamie, Jasmine, Lamont. All of you guys. There's so many of you and I can't think of the rest of your guys' names. Liz Brown. It's just so many of you. I love you all, okay? And just thank you for watching my videos and enjoying these reviews. So if you like this video, you already know what to do. Like my shit, subscribe to my channel if you've not already, and ring the notification bell so you could be alerted when I make videos in the future. So before I go, the party has just begun. Stay tuned because I've got some videos to come. All right, world, that's it. Wentworth forever!